It's true, the Harris interview did feel like a very special episode of Oprah, but instead of everybody getting a new car, everybody got an aneurysm.
Joe Rogan is calling out Oprah and Michelle Obama for hypocritical speeches at the DNC. Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as Like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, you know, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like, you are worth so much money.
Take more than they need. The Obamas have 4 mansions.
I mean,
Greg Gutfeld and Joe Rogan just flipped the script on Oprah Winfrey in a way so sharp it grabbed everyone's attention. With humor, edge, and no hesitation, they cut through the polished image and said what most people don't say out loud. The charm, the empire, the aura, all of it was put to the test. This wasn't just a roast, it felt like a real turning point. Oprah didn't see it coming, and now the whole narrative is starting to come apart in a pretty surprising way.
She also brought us Dr. Oz and The Secret. We have to remember what this lady has done.
She has to be held accountable.
I forgive her, but I mean, cut the shit. The Secret is a particularly egregious offense.
What, you don't believe?
You don't believe? Believe?
I want to be rich. I am rich.
I imagine myself flying. I can fly. I will beat my wings until I take off.
Greg Gutfeld didn't show up to joke around. He came to dig deeper, and Oprah Winfrey just happened to be the latest polished figure in his lineup of roast-worthy icons. If there's one thing Greg does better than land a punchline, it's placing it with sharp precision. And when he aimed that satire at the empire Oprah built, he didn't miss a single detail.
A list of favorite things, and as usual, there are lots of expensive stuff. $1,000 pizza oven, $590 drip coffee maker, $80 of luxury salt. Sadly, no proposal from Stedman. Kat, do you think she went over this first to make sure it wasn't too extravagant?
What's up?
Yeah.
It was one of the more I want to say disturbing, but it was confusing when that was taking hold with people. When I had friends that were telling me that The Secret is real and that they imagined they were going to fulfill these childhood dreams that they had about whatever, being a fucking astronaut, whatever it would be. There's a couple people that I knew that were trying to tell me that The Secret was going to be the thing and that they had a vision board and they had photographs, they put pictures up of the things that they wanted. Like them in front of large crowds and shit. And I'm like, oh boy.
It started off like a quick jab, the kind you could almost miss, wrapped in clever wording and a bit of sarcasm. But pretty soon, it was clear this wasn't just a quick roast. It turned into a full detour into the world of Oprah Winfrey, one of America's most loved TV icons. And Greg was coming in with full force, not holding anything back.
Oprah is actually suggesting that I think you're like, listen, what do you say? Like, this made me think of you. Like, you're probably not going to be alive much longer. Merry Christmas. Oprah, if she did go over this, she is a sick.
Yeah.
He started by breaking down the myth, the Oprah Winfrey aura. That larger-than-life image built over years of book clubs, car giveaways, and those over-the-top sofa moments where the tears felt just as predictable as the product plugs. Greg focused on how Oprah shifted from talk show host to spiritual guide, billionaire mogul, and self-help leader. Let's just say he wasn't really sold on it.
Did you see the Oprah interview?
no.
She's off the rails.
Yeah,
Off the rails.
I heard about it.
Into fucking wine mom country again.
Wow.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, I hear that.
Tim Dillon is the best. Tim Dillon's like, she's saying gypsy curses. What is she saying?
He started poking holes in that carefully crafted image of humility Oprah built over the years. He pointed out how someone who made a fortune by seeming relatable somehow ended up living in a $100 million estate with a private avocado orchard. Because nothing says I'm just like you quite like outgrowing trips to Target while still telling people to believe in themselves through a quote on a throw pillow.
You got cheese, you got pizza.
Barry, I'm going to stop you there.
Yes.
I treat this like the list I get from my kids. They send me emails because they know when I laugh in their face, it hurts. Anyone who wants a $1,000 pizza oven, you're going to get what Cat picked out. Like, that's the greatest gift you can give somebody because you can't return it. Because returning it, oh, you think you're immortal? You think you're better than us? Like, get your affairs in order. That's the great, you stole the show. They wanted me to talk about a dog towel. Towel's a towel. Great job. That's the best gift ever. And Oprah has never read this, just like I don't read the list for my kids sent me.
Greg Gutfeld also rolled his eyes at the way Oprah Winfrey became the go-to voice on everything: health, politics, religion, even lifestyle trends, until it felt like almost any endorsement could turn into a nationwide hit overnight. He argued that kind of influence had stopped feeling inspiring and started feeling oversized, calling it influence inflation, where a single opinion could shift public behavior in unrealistic ways. Then he went further, questioning Oprah's growing circle of celebrity followers who treat her like a guiding authority, pointing out the irony of a brand built on authenticity being surrounded by some of the most polished, media-trained figures in entertainment. While Greg dissected the image with sharp precision, Joe Rogan came at it differently, louder, more explosive, and far less careful, turning the whole conversation into something that hit like a blunt force critique rather than a measured analysis.
Bro, you remember the time Oprah had that lady on, its face bit off by the chimp? Stay there. And she showed her face on TV?
Oh, yeah.
Miraculously, she survived just the unimaginable. Her name is Charla Nash. Charla almost always covers her face with the hat and scarf. She wears it, she says, because she doesn't want to scare people.
The lady was wearing a veil over her face, like, let's see your face, come on. She pulls the veil away.
Like a nope.
What are you doing?
Would you mind lifting the veil? Oh, no. So we can see.
You could take the hat off.
Oh, the hat comes off.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Joe Rogan kicked things off by laughing at how much admiration Oprah Winfrey gets, joking that people talk about her like she invented kindness or discovered healing itself. In his view, she's not some grand spiritual leader, just a talk show host who got very good at turning vulnerability into profit. But the way she's praised, he said, you'd think she was delivering wisdom from on high instead of running a TV stage. He then moved into Oprah's more controversial side, the public endorsements, the wellness trends, and the self-help wave that grew around her brand. Joe criticized how easily pseudoscience and wellness culture became mainstream through that influence, arguing it often felt more like marketing than meaning. To him, Oprah wasn't just a media icon, but a powerful brand machine wrapped in the language of inspiration. He also pointed out the contradictions, preaching gratitude and humility while running a massive empire built on personal struggle narratives, talking about self-love while still benefiting from industries tied to insecurity and transformation. Joe argued she perfected a cycle of selling people their pain, offering the solution, then packaging it all into motivation. And of course, he couldn't ignore the wealth, the private jets, the estates, the luxury lifestyle, saying it creates a strange double image of someone speaking to everyday struggles while living far removed from them.
You know, Michael, your list contains a can of beans, a used blanket, and a pillow found in a garbage can.
Yes, and a stick with a bandana full of my belongings.
Yes.
That's all I want.
That's all you want.
That's all I want,
Yeah.
Santa.
Yeah.
I looked at this list, and you know what wasn't on there?
Both Greg Gutfeld and Joe Rogan, in their own ways, opened up a conversation a lot of people usually avoid. Because going after Oprah Winfrey isn't like joking about a regular celebrity. It's more like tossing a snowball at Mount Rushmore. People don't just react, they act like you crossed a line. But Greg and Joe kept going anyway, and that mix of fearlessness and humor is exactly what makes them stand out. As their commentary spread, the reactions split fast. Some called it overdue honesty, others treated it like blasphemy. Still, nobody could ignore it. The polished image felt a little less untouchable, the glow not quite as solid. Joe pushed further on his podcast, digging into why audiences are so drawn to Oprah-like figures, suggesting that modern culture often turns successful, charismatic people into guides just because they speak confidently and feel familiar. His idea was simple. People don't necessarily want leaders. They want comforting voices who make life feel manageable. Greg, on the other hand, leaned fully into satire, stacking comparisons and jokes that placed Oprah in the same conversation as politicians, tech giants, and even cult-like influence, pushing the exaggeration just far enough that it made people pause and think twice.
Sold, but Oprah sold it. I mean, she was one of the big ones, man. And she was
all in.
She was fucking 50 years old at the time. I mean, this is not a young woman who is selling this. How old is Oprah now?
75.
89? No, she just ran a marathon in 4 hours.
They both highlighted how Oprah Winfrey's empire almost runs on a self-sustaining loop. Cry on TV, sell the tissues, promote the book about healing, then bring the author on to talk about emotional growth, turning it all into a polished cycle of inspiration and commerce. Greg Gutfeld and Joe Rogan weren't attacking her success, but questioning the idea that Oprah Winfrey should be beyond critique, as if her words existed in a space above scrutiny. Their point was that celebrity influence wrapped in kindness becomes harder to challenge, and Oprah mastered that image so well people stopped asking questions. What they delivered wasn't hate or cancellation talk, it was blunt clarity mixed with humor, reminding everyone that even the most admired billionaires still sit within the same system of power and profit as everyone else.
Shortly after the Oscars, a 3.9 magnitude earthquake rocked LA. The tremors were so powerful, Oprah's ass is still moving. Why would you laugh at that? That's fat shamers.
Whether Oprah Winfrey responds or stays silent is still unknown, but one thing is clear. Greg Gutfeld and Joe Rogan have changed the way people talk about her. And just when things seemed to calm down, Joe Rogan added more fuel to the fire, joking that if she casually mentioned liking broccoli on a Tuesday, grocery stores would be sold out by Wednesday. He described her influence as something like a national mood ring. Whatever she focused on instantly became a trend, whether it was decluttering, wellness, or lifestyle shifts that spread everywhere almost overnight.
Right, which appears to be what Oprah's doing for Maui. It seems like she and The Rock just did that one video, and really, the people of Maui, they got screwed.
I anticipate a letter to the show saying, The Rock donated $20 trillion to the fund, and then you're gonna have to apologize.
Oh, I will say I'm sorry immediately. It's like this thing in Maui happened, and then
still talking about Maui.
I am, because everyone just quickly moved on.
No, that's a good point too. That is a good point. It is a story that kind of just faded.
So basically, what you're hoping is at least you would have left them a pizza oven.
Yeah.
Right?
Ashley, save this segment.
I can't.
She felt like reconnecting with nature, and suddenly it turned into a nationwide wave of tree hugging and backyard chicken coops. Joe Rogan's point wasn't that any of it was wrong, but that one person seemed to have outsized influence over millions of choices with very little accountability. To him, it wasn't leadership, it was soft control wrapped in self-help language. Meanwhile, Greg Gutfeld took a more precise approach, focusing on how Oprah Winfrey turned personal pain into a kind of content pipeline. In her world, every struggle had a segment, every trauma had a book deal, and every emotional story came with a neatly packaged takeaway. He joked that even a goldfish interview could somehow end with an inspirational aquarium guide. For Greg, it showed how emotion itself became something formatted, scheduled, and sold. Joe then circled back to the bigger idea, the mythology around Oprah as someone who is always right, almost untouchable, as if approval from her were the final stamp of wisdom. He found it strange how easily influence turns into authority, and entertainment into moral guidance. What made both of them effective, though, wasn't anger, it was clarity mixed with humor. They weren't trying to destroy Oprah, just challenge the pedestal she was placed on, the one she helped build by presenting herself as relatable, while becoming something far bigger.